Welcome back to Trail Mix, everyone, a nutty gaming podcast by Nutty Gamers. I'm your host, Elite, and today we have the number one hentai artist and Japanese wannabe, Squidly Squid.
Hello.
And your other host, Strathfield, the only normal one here.
Hello.
And today, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. But first things first, Strath has an announcement.
I wouldn't say it's an announcement as it is a review, because over the last 2 weeks in our cycle, I've been pumping some hours into the Alters, which is a little game that's available on Xbox Game Pass if you would like to try it out after listening to me ramble for it. It's interesting. It's definitely not what I expected. I'm surprised it doesn't have a little bit more hype after going into it. Kind of follows the story of this guy who gets stranded on a planet and is left with no choice but to keep cloning himself if he wants to survive.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Is there sex?
Of
No.
course. I don't know. You could ask that question.
Okay, it's a 2
Zero.
out of 10. 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. The
Yep.
graphics are alright. I wouldn't say they're fantastic. I think definitely could have done better with the storyline if they had some better graphics. Like, it's not terrible. It's about what you would expect from, like, I guess a smaller studio. It's definitely no Claire Obscure. I just want to put that out there right now. The storyline is great. I'm just starting Act 3. I have restarted twice because the learning curve is steep.
Yeah.
The need to manage your other alters, because they all have their own individual personality. The idea is that you clone yourself, but you alter one key moment.
That's why it's called alter. I was thinking like alters as in like plinth.
No. Like, you alter, so you can see your entire string of like core memories. And then you go through and you pick one and you go, this is the one I'm going to change. And it goes, okay, if you change this, this is the person you become instead. And it creates an entire alternate life branch in which you undertake some different speciality.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my small spoiler, but one of your alters, if you don't intervene, does dismember themselves.
Oh.
How?
Very suddenly in the kitchen.
With like
I
a
see.
kitchen knife, or
Yeah,
Quite vivid.
that just sounds
very vivid.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
And they all believe that their they all have their own memories. That they really struggle to come to terms with the fact that these memories aren't real.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can send them to therapy. Is another fun little addition. You can set their work hours. They get pissy if you don't provide like adequate food, things like that. It is very, very heavy resource demand. So you've got to balance, like, do I really need this addition to my little wheel ship versus are my alters going to rebel and lock me in prison if I force them to work another 2 hours?
You're right.
But yeah, it is very resource demanding. If it's the first game, I would definitely first game you've played like that, I would definitely recommend playing it on easy mode, which is something I wish I had have done.
Yeah.
At least the first time around.
Isn't it also basically like Fallout Shelter? Or like those base building type of games?
Sort of.
Like The Sims or no?
No, so you have to you essentially, so you build the ship, you go, okay, I've got a greenhouse, all of these things. To move the ship, you have to spend organic matter. So you've got to go out wherever you are and set down a mine and assign an altar to go do that. So you have like an organic mine, a mineral mine, and then they have a thing called rupidium, which is its own element that lets you make more
Yeah.
altars. But the thing is, you're also competing with the fucking sun.
I see.
So if the sun rises on your location, everyone dies.
Oh.
Is it
Um,
because the sun's too hot, or does the sun just have it out for you?
it's too hot and too close.
I see.
Ah.
Interesting. So you got to
So
take cover
I'm-
from the sun as well.
Sort of. So it'll tell you like the sun is far away, and that doesn't
Yeah.
give you a timeline. And then like another few days will pass, and it'll be like the sun is getting closer.
Right.
And it keeps doing that until it's like sunrise in 3 days.
Yep.
In which case you need to be able to make the trip. So each trip you have to have a certain amount of organic material per
Yep.
kilo of weight your ship has.
Right. Okay.
Which I've just gone through my 3rd move and
Yep.
had to leave so much behind because I just didn't anticipate it being so costly.
Okay. Interesting.
But you also encounter obstacles like on your first move, you've got to work out how to create a hollow bridge across like a lava pit, and to do that, you've got to like get the scientist on board. There's a whole lot that goes into it. But it is a great game. It's definitely very well thought out. I do think there are aspects to it that they probably could have done without. There's a lot of like ethical questions to it.
Yeah.
That the game does explore in detail by having you communicate with people back home and relive memories through your altars. I would recommend it. I would probably give it like I'd say like a 6.8 out of 10 if I had to pick something.
Not a 6.9.
Not a 6.9. I'm pretty set on a 6.8. Like I said, graphics could have done with a little bit more. If I'm on an alien planet, I would like to be wowed by it.
Yeah.
Whereas it was very dark very quickly. If you're out at night and in radiation, it is almost impossible to see. But yeah, that you also compete with weather issues as well, like magnetic storms. You can't leave the base or you die.
Fucking relatable.
And then there's radiation at night, so if you leave the base, you die. Or you faint. And if you harvest metal in the wrong place, you die.
I see. It's quite...
But those-
everything seems to want to kill you.
It's a lot of radiation all the time.
So basically, if I do anything that the game deems as a no-no, I die.
Seems like
It's
it.
not so much you immediately die, but you do like have a radiation meter that goes up very drastically, and then like it will be like, if you harvest in a magnetic storm, you'll get more of this, and it's like, yeah, but I'm gonna die.
Death
Yeah,
is
well, true.
temporary.
Metal materials are forever.
Exactly.
Very true.
But yes, definitely good. I like the main character. His alters, not so much. I've never experienced a mutiny like this before.
Sounds like a really interesting game, though. Like,
It does have crossplay as well, which was really nice.
Interesting. So it is co-op then, is it?
No, so I installed it on PC, and then I wasn't feeling well, and I could play it from the lounge. So
Cross save, I think you mean.
cross save, sorry.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting.
Speaking of crossplay, Helldivers 2 was announced coming to Xbox. I assume it'll have crossplay as well.
Oh, I'm so excited for that, dude, man. I'm so very excited for that because I got a lot of friends on Xbox who have been wanting to play it. So I've actually been getting back into Helldivers recently because of that.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I mean, I only see it as a win because Helldivers is one of those games where you just kind of play it. And
Yeah, it's one of the better games I've played of that. I guess like an extraction shooter kind of.
yeah, it's extraction shooter with more bullshit to just happen.
Yeah.
I
but
do.
yeah.
I do think it'll be interesting to see how they adjust community goals based on an increase in the community, like in community
Yeah.
size.
I almost feel
Yeah.
like they'll just do what they're doing now, but they'll just make, because like the whole of them taking Super Earth was a big thing. So I almost feel like they might maybe not do something as like fantastical as that, but they'll definitely. I wouldn't be surprised personally if they bring back, another push for the Creek when the Xbox divers come to try and incentivize, because
Surely.
it was such a
feel
big
like
thing.
that's-
Creek.
I feel like that's probably the biggest thing they can do.
Because that was one of the biggest things, was the Creek, was how like theatrical it was, incentivized, and how people were talking about it, almost like Creek Vietnam, if you will. So I feel like that would be probably one of the better things they could do personally, is
Space
do
Nine.
that for the Xbox divers, is bring that as a thing. I know a lot of people don't like to bot dive, but I've been on the bot worlds recently. It's a lot of fun.
No, I mean, I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's
Yeah.
a good choice. I hope that it's I hope that it doesn't have problems on launch.
Yes, that's
That is probably because I think a lot of people will also come back to it from, PC and PlayStation, because they're like, now I can actually play with friends.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was a bit of drop off where people were like, I don't really want to play with strangers. I just want to play with my friends. I don't play unless you guys are on.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've been doing a
But-
lot of like open lobbies. It can be very how you going? Definitely can be.
But yeah, that's Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox August 26th, I think.
Yeah, I think the 26th, so it'll be exciting.
It's in August. Now, before we jump into our main topic for the episode, because I am the host this time and it is my episode, I want to bring up expectations. Because next week is the release of Edge of Fate. And the community sentiment isn't great.
Oof.
For those out of the loop, essentially there was a tweet by a streamer asking what people are thinking, because he sees two trains of thought right now. The first one being the content creator saying it's a 10 out of 10 and it's going to be great. Which I say to him, what the fuck do you mean? Most of the content creators have been openly negative towards most of the normal content. But the community seems to be very aggressively hating it.
I think
So-
that's always been a thing though, man. They tend to not like, they either complain about, or it's like excited for it.
Yeah, I mean this time around, people need to remember, this is the first of a new story beat. Like, we're not.
But this is Sony content, isn't it now? It's not Bungie content now.
I mean, Sony. This is the first expansion where Sony haven't helped with it.
Yeah.
But in that same breath, I don't know how much Sony is actually involved in Destiny.
Well, that's true. I'd hope they'd put some effort into it though.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like their pay cow was Marathon. At least, like, where Sony was putting money was Marathon. And
So how
that's
that panned out.
that's dead in the water, as far as we can tell.
I
Um,
don't think that Sony's going to get too involved in Destiny for the time being. Like, I think they realize it has its own very intricate flow. And I think for the time being, like, until they consciously understand that, and until Destiny is in trouble properly, I don't think they'll get too involved. That's just my personal take on it.
That's fair.
I mean, the other
I
thing
think
as
that's
well.
probably going to be it as well.
The other thing as well is, Sony don't really have, because this is the first expansion where they're owned by Sony. What Sony are probably doing is going to see how they perform and adjust accordingly. So like if the expansion bombs and it's a piece of shit, I can imagine that they'll, you know, take over and tell Bungie, yo, we're stepping in.
You're making too many mistakes. This is not okay.
Yeah, because I don't have big expectations for the story or the lore going into Edge of Fate. I do see this expansion as the quality of life expansion. This is like we're fixing the systems, we're updating the game function. For future expansions. Like I think the first big story beat we're going to see is probably Renegades when that comes out in December.
But Renegades is also apparently not bringing a new location with it. It's just a story from what I've read so far.
I did see that, but their exact wording is that there won't be a new destination. Which to me says
they're going to pull a Nessus again.
Well, either they're going to pull a Nessus because we do know we're going back to Mars in the expansion. Like there's going to be a social hub or something on Mars.
Yeah.
My guess is we're going to go back to D1 Mars because it doesn't make sense for us to go back to the Rasputin bunker in up in that region of Mars. So but we also need to remember we're getting two destinations. With the Edge of Fate update, because we are getting the Plague Lands back 3 months later.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
I mean, I'm more curious on what the story justification is going to be of why we're going back there.
That's true.
Seems like from what I've seen of the trailer, it doesn't look like it reasonably exists in our timeline.
No.
What, the Plague Lands?
No. Edge of Fate itself.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
Because obviously it does take place in our timeline.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to just say, hey, we've switched timelines all of a sudden. But we do know Lodi is from pre-collapse Earth.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how they explain all of that.
Yeah.
They did touch on in a previous dev stream, they talked about the idea of having kind of like a multiversal approach in some of the expansions they're developing. And when someone pointed out that in the trailer, when you look at the ground, there's it's like a golden era Earth setting where they walk across the floor, and the symbol on the floor is the Traveler, but it's not the Traveler as we know it.
Okay.
It's got like the harness thing from back in Red War.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is more what I was coming from, but it'll be interesting to see how they tie it all together. I do think a lot of the I think expectations are important, but looking at, like, you can't have an opinion on something that hasn't even dropped yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the hard part.
You can have an opinion of what you want to happen and what you expect to happen, but having like this is dog shit versus this is the best thing ever opinion doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Like, being excited for it, that's fair enough, or not being excited, but I guess, like, you can't say, oh, this is crap, like, well, it hasn't come out yet. You can't say.
But that brings us into the main topic of the video, or the podcast.
Exciting.
I got the Potty Boys, the Nutty Gamers here, to make a 3x3 grid based on the game topics that I have suggested. So there is 3 categories that I have done, and we have each picked 9 games, and we're going to go through each one and explain why and
Yeah.
I won't be explaining anything because my opinions are always correct.
Okay, buddy.
So we have best game, worst game, and games that missed. Which one should we start with?
I think games that missed has to go last. Like, it's
Okay.
Yeah, that's
just
fair.
fitting.
Let's
Maybe
start with worst
worst game?
games.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with Strath's worst games, which I will have. Hold on, let me write down the time code so I can know in editing. We'll start with
I've got the picture as
Strath's. Whoever, for those who are like listening to an audio version, we have Redfall, Skull and Bones, Call of Duty Vanguard, Thief, The First Descendant, Overwatch 2, which I will also count as Overwatch 1, Watch Dogs, The Avengers game, and Gotham Knights.
Very good.
The only one that I kind of question is Thief.
There's a reason.
What's the reason?
I feel like, okay, so I have played all of the older Thieves.
Yep.
It was my introduction into stealth gaming. And I feel like Thief had so many options, and more than anything, I think the gameplay let it down. It didn't feel smooth enough for the game that it should have been. I honestly didn't think it felt any smoother than the game that came out, late 90s, I believe it was. And that was my biggest issue with it. Like, if you're going to remake something with such a rich lore as well, it felt very surface level. The gameplay itself didn't feel great. I think, especially from memory, that came out after Assassin's Creed.
I think Thief came out in 2019.
Yeah, okay.
Did it?
So-
Hold on. No, that might be wrong.
That
Let me
feels
look
way too recent. I could be wrong, but
give me 1 second. 2014.
yeah, so we were well into Assassin's Creed by that point. That has always felt, love or hate the series, it does have movement mechanics coming out the arse.
Absolutely.
And that was my issue with Thief, is that I didn't feel like they did the previous series justice.
That's fair.
An interesting note on that one, and I haven't played any of the Thief games, but I know people who have, and they have a very similar opinion as well, that the newer one that came out didn't do the justice for the older one. So that's not something that is quite unknown. Like, when I saw that there, I had an understanding to why it would be there.
I mean,
Yeah,
I briefly played that Thief, like the newest one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't find it like horrible gameplay, but it didn't feel anything like it didn't feel special in any way. It just felt like your bog standard first person stealth game.
yeah.
Like I honestly would prefer to play Dishonored, because at least Dishonored has a lot of choice in how you play the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Where
that's fair.
Thief felt like you had to play a particular way. Like it was
Yeah.
stealth or nothing.
Mm.
At least from memory, because I played it a while ago. The combat system was very underdeveloped because they wanted you to stealth through everything.
That is definitely also from the earlier games. Like, it's not designed, like they were not designed for you to have any sort of combat. But they did have a lot more choice. Like I believe it's the first mission in the first Thief. You have water arrows where you can make areas darker. There's dumb waiters that you climb into to get between floors. If you don't want to do that, you can just blackjack people in the back of the head. Like, there's plenty of option in the original games that I just feel didn't translate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I agree with every other one. Watchdog is like I would consider Watch Dogs like a missed game because it had a lot of potential.
Just quickly on that one, I couldn't find a picture for Watchdog Legion.
Oh, is this about
which is
Legion?
what it should be. Yeah, I feel like It was a terrible. It was a great idea, terrible execution. I'm pretty sure it may even be on my missed games.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's not. It's not, but I would have put it if I had more room. Yeah, it just didn't live up to the hype. I did actually really enjoy the first Watch Dogs. It was an interesting
Yeah.
experience. I think Gotham Knights and Avengers definitely
Gotham
fall.
Knights shouldn't have
Even
existed.
Redfall. I don't agree with that. I think the idea is cool. I think the execution's terrible. I've played a fair bit of it. Out of curiosity more than anything, the voice acting's very flat. The gameplay is very flat. I think that it and Avengers and even Redfall to a degree all fall into the same issue where it's just repetitive and there's not enough reward to justify that repetition.
I mean, my issue with Gotham Knights, and this also extends to that Suicide Squad game, is that they both take place in the same universe as the Arkham games, and that trilogy is like the perfect superhero game trilogy, and should not
Yeah,
they should not have touched the universe.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll cop that.
enough.
Yeah,
Avengers was just disappointing.
Avengers is like the worst game of the decade.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's
It's up
it's
there.
if it's
No,
not the worst, it's very, very close to the worst. But yeah, I think that covers it. First Descendant deserves it. That thing is just jerk off the game.
Guna
It's a
bait.
good
Yeah.
game.
It's just Guna
So-
bait, and then not even having a good game like Xeno's Zero or anything like that.
Yeah.
Where it actually has good gameplay. It's just dog quarter.
Skull and Crossbones, that was just that it needed to be developed more. They never like developed
Yeah.
it properly.
Here's my issue, and this is 100% why it's here. I got this game for free. It was gifted to
Yeah.
me as from a friend. I played, I think I hit maybe 12 hours of it, and I was like, surely at some point I'm gonna develop a skill that lets me go onto another person's boat.
Yeah.
Because it's made by the same people who made Black Flag. Like they have all the equipment right there. If they just made Black Flag, except it's more pirate focused, I would have been so happy. But
Yeah.
it was nothing but shooting. Like you're just sailing. You're not being a pirate. You just here's another cinematic that's exact same as the last one of jumping on the ship. It's not fulfilling.
Hmm.
I refunded this game. Like that's how much I hated it.
Yeah.
Wait, you got it for free and you refunded it?
My friend bought it for me
Hmm.
as a gift, and I ended up refunding it, and so did he.
Yeah, honestly, fair.
That's fair enough. That's a fair take.
Okay, moving on to Squid's worst games. Where is it?
There's a few of them there that I'll have to explain because
Okay.
it's just personal opinions.
So it is the first Descendant, Redfall, No More Room, Hell.
In hell.
Who's
In hell.
in Hell.
Yeah.
Battlefield 2042, Unbound, Need for Speed, Fallout 76, Juice 2 Hot Import Nights, Far Cry New Dawn, and For Honor. The only ones that I have no idea what they are Juiced and No More Room in Hell.
So I can explain.
Do explain.
First Senate and Redfall, I think, are pretty much already been explained by Strath, but No More Room in Hell was like a zombie shooter, but the only way you could kill zombies is with headshots, and it was like PvEVP, so somebody started off as a zombie, and you could had a cool concept, you could pretend to be a zombie, you could walk with the horde, and you had to infect the survivors, but the fact of it was that it could only kill them by headshots, so it was very much like it's a fun game, except when you realize that as a survivor, you're scuffed if you have got bad aim because they can dodge and weave and one tap you, and you have to hit the head, only the head, to kill them. So you kind of scuffed, and it gets very boring very quickly. You can kill yourself and make yourself a zombie, which was what I normally did because I just couldn't be stuffed playing as a survivor, but it wasn't a great game. I played it a long time ago and it wasn't as good as I thought it'd be, but it was alright.
Okay.
Juice 2, it loaded and loaded and loaded. I left it loading when I went to school and I came back, it was still loading and I couldn't get past it. It seemed to be a pretty common issue when I looked it up on online, and it just seemed like a game that was trying to be so hard like Need for Speed, but it just couldn't be like Need for Speed or Midnight Club. And that's that's the reason why I don't like it. But the other ones are, I think, pretty self-explanatory to some degree. Need for Speed Unbound, just kind of from the last game they made, Need for Speed Heat, they had a really cool system with an interesting cop system and with the day and night cycles of racing, and they just tried to do the same thing, but they just didn't do it. It was too they made it too Need for Speed. I know it sounds silly when I say that, but they went from being a fun arcade racer to just over the top, and it just became like, this is not about racing like illegal street racing. This is just me just driving a car fast because I can. I just didn't find it very interesting.
I could not agree harder with Far Cry.
I love Far Cry. I've loved all the Far Cries, including Far Cry 5, one of my favorite Far Cries. New Dawn was just so boring. Without spoilers, of course, about it, I just didn't like the antagonists because they were just mean for being mean. Like, at least Joseph Seed, or I think it's Joseph,
Joseph Seed's the goat.
He was genuinely terrifying as a person, and really, I feel like he did a good job. So when I came to Far Cry New Dawn, I was excited because it was a continuation of the last game, and it was just like, it felt flat. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is just this is just a waste of time and money.
It felt like a DLC.
It really did. Like, if they made a DLC, it'd be much better. Battlefield 2042 is just, it was, I know it's better now, but at a launch, it was just, DICE dropped the ball very hard on that one.
You know what? As someone who's played it recently, I still feel like it's not that great.
No, compared to the other ones, I know the new one's coming out and it seems to be going back to the old Battlefields, but 2042 just did not. After Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 and how theatrical the game was, like, it was almost like a cinematic, and then they went to this, everyone's just like, what is this? Like, where have we gone? And quickly, For Honor, it was just super toxic. People just played the game like it was a professional game when you're just playing for fun, and I feel like the combat itself was interesting and cool and I liked it, but the community just ruined it. It was just so toxic to the point where I was like, I just don't want to play this anymore.
That's totally fair. I mean, For Honor seems like a game that you shouldn't take too seriously, and then everyone takes seriously.
Yeah. And it's like, because I played it on Xbox, the amount of hate mail you get for playing the game a certain way, because I'm not trying to parry them or feint them, I'm just kind of spamming because I don't know what I'm doing, and then just getting called all sorts of racist slurs and whatever else because they didn't like it. Like, chill, my man, it's all good.
Relax, my guys.
But that is that's my worst games.
Yep. So moving on to my worst games.
These are some hot takes, my dude.
So, we have, I'll list the games that we've covered before. First Ascendant, Avengers, and Redfall. We've spoken about those. They're terrible.
Yep.
The new ones that I have are Anthem, Stellar Blade, Starfield, Avowed, Halo 5 Guardians, and Destiny 2.
Understandable.
Ask me. Ask away.
I don't have any questions for Starfield. I know I'd say I have love for it, and that's fair.
So,
but I know
okay. I will defend my Starfield thing. It is literally because the game has so much potential, and It's got such a nice open world, and the quests are cool. but nothing matters,
Absolutely.
if that makes sense. Like, building your ship
Agreed.
is an important part of the game, but
It
it
just
never
means
felt
nothing
like
to me.
it mattered to me.
Yeah, look,
Uh,
I've got nearly 600 hours in that game, man, and I could not agree more. Like, I like the game, I love it, it's one of my favorites, but I know it falls very short when it comes to the other Bethesda, especially the other Bethesda titles, you know?
But the other big thing is, like, and this goes back to expectations. I expected this, and the way they marketed it was, it's going to be a big explorer game where
Yeah.
you travel the world and you explore, but you don't really have that much exploration because only like 5 to 6 of the planets actually have things on them, like cities.
Yeah.
And then
Agreed.
you've got these other like 995 worlds that are just barren, or they have like the same reloaded thing.
It's just got a bunch of bandits on it that you can fight and take a hold out and loot it, and then that's it. Like, that's the entire planet basically done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing for me is, as someone who's put hundreds of hours into No Man's Sky, where it's billions of planets across a galaxy that you can explore every single one, and like, even when I most recently played No Man's Sky, there was systems that I was still discovering and being the first one to discover, and the game's been out for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I do.
Hmm.
I do agree very heavily with Starfield. I have a different reason for why it's worst game.
Why?
I agree that nothing mattered, and here's why. I don't enjoy games where I'm forced to play the good guy 90% of the time. Starfield was, you have no choice but to be the good guy.
Yeah.
And if you weren't, you had to essentially do an apology tour to every single follower, and then it was fine. It was over. But the fact that we can explore this, supposedly endless system that they've created, be a pirate, which is a core side storyline, might I add, but still get in trouble from literally everybody on our ship is just, it's not the ticket.
Like, unlike the other Bethesda, you could have an evil follower. Like, it just felt like there was no iconic evil follower you could do and just be like an absolute menace to the society. Like, you couldn't do that.
I also want to say, Starfield, and this isn't necessarily with the game, but the community.
Yeah.
People who bitched and moaned over the fact that they added pronouns that do not affect the game in any way.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I won't lie there.
To all those people, if you're watching this, go fuck yourself and actually give a shit about the gameplay. If you're gonna hate a game, hate it for the gameplay, not for having a choice that doesn't affect the game.
That's fair.
Okay,
my other one is Stellar Blade. I'm very confused about that one.
Stellar Blade, it is a fucking Guna game that wants to be stuck. It is shitty Nier Automata. Nier Automata is better in every single way, and the game is just as horny.
Okay.
Fair.
I can cop that. I will say that I've heard a lot of people say Stellar Blade is a very good game, though. So
yeah, but they're also playing with one hand.
That's fair enough.
For
what it does, what it does, though. It does what it does.
To explain my other ones, Anthem was very, very close to being in the missed games category.
It's in mine.
Yeah. But sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I can change it out with one game in my missed categories game, but like, if it got a 2.0, if it got the No Man's Sky treatment and the devs tried, I would have been more forgiving, and I do think it would have killed Destiny's audience, but they gave up on it too quickly. Avowed is just fucking boring. Like, it has
I didn't hear that.
It has some cool concepts, like you could use ice magic to walk on water, other things like that that were really cool, but it just lacked character.
I don't. I agree, but I don't agree.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people hyped Avowed up to be something it wasn't, because everyone was like, "This is the Skyrim killer,"
Yeah.
and then when it wasn't the Skyrim killer, everyone got real mad real quick.
This is the Skyrim killer. Skyrim that came out over fucking 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That was what everyone hyped it up as. Avowed
Yeah.
will be the thing that unseats Elder Scrolls, and then it wasn't. And by no means am I saying that, but I don't think it deserves the hate, and I kind of don't think it belongs in a worst games category. I definitely think there's other games that could be there.
That's fair.
Fair point.
We all know why Destiny's there.
Hold on.
Say less.
Yeah, Destiny's there. Halo 5 deserves to be there. It is the worst Halo
I agree.
game.
I hated it with a burning passion. As an avid Halo fan, I did not like it.
I didn't mind some of the movement stuff, like the boost and the abilities. The story was just dog shit. And then like the fucking loot boxes were dog shit, and the game modes were dog shit. Yeah, that's about it. Avengers doesn't need justification. Moving on to Strath.
Best games.
Best games. Where are your best games?
Best games.
Excited for this.
There it is.
I'm so excited for this one.
We have Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy something remake, because I can't read Roman
7.
numerals. 6. Detroit Become Human, Elden Ring, Oblivion Remastered, Serious Sam, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Ball Z, The Legacy of something Goku.
It's just Goku.
Oh, is that just, I can't read fucking Chinese.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of them there I hard agree with. That one.
I will say right now, I agree with Detroit Become Human, Elden Ring, Knights of the Old Republic, Baldur's Gate. I've never played Final Fantasy, so I can't comment. Never played Serious Sam, so I can't comment. Dragon Ball games are always good. We love Goku. I will burn Cyberpunk with a match.
Fair.
That is quite literally just because of the issues I had with Cyberpunk. That kind of destroyed the game for me, and the main story kind of was boring to me.
I mean, that's fair. I think I'm very blessed. I don't know if I've touched on it previously. I never experienced issues with Cyberpunk the way everyone else did. I own it on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Just because there's been times where accessibility's been an issue, and I have played so much of this game. I like that there are always, I'm probably over 100 hours in. I'm still finding things that tie missions to other missions, and I think the characters are very complex. I think the storyline, the core storyline specifically, could have been more interesting. I can definitely agree with that. It's not the draw for me. It's the actual outer world. I do think, I know some people weren't happy with how detailed it was. They expected more, but everyone always does. Baldur's Gate, literally game of the year it came out.
Yeah, it does.
I have no notes. Yeah. Final Fantasy... Sorry?
I was going to say, out of the three of us, I think Squid is the only one who hasn't played Baldur's Gate, and even he's said it's a great game.
It's on the list there, so...
very good.
I'm excited to play it, though, when I do get around to it.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, look, it was... I did intend on putting the picture from the original there. It was my introduction to turn-based games.
Yeah.
And, like... As much as everyone I know recently has watched, the first season of Edgerunners and been like, sobbed, that's how I felt about Final Fantasy. This game goes for fucking ever. Like, it does not end. You think, oh, surely it cannot get any sadder. Surprise.
Surprise, bitch.
Like, it's got interesting little side quests for all of the characters, like these little PlayStation 1 blobs moving across the screen telling me sad stories. It's goated.
Yeah.
And that's why it's enduring.
That's fair enough.
I do have a soft spot for Detroit. I think it's a fantastic game.
Listen, man.
I do have to play that.
Listen,
I have
man.
to play that.
Listen. Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Wait, no. What's the kid's name? I don't fucking remember.
Jason.
Is it Jason?
I think it is. You're going through this the shop. Jason.
Well, from
That's
memory,
really
there's
weird.
like two bits. Dude, I remember as a kid. So I watched. There was this YouTuber who I watched. His name was Clash JTM. He played through Heavy Rain, and then I vividly remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so stupid. There's a bit where you go in, like you're playing as a female character, and you go into a strip club to get info because you're like a journalist.
Yeah.
And you have to hoify yourself.
Okay.
And I just remember it so vividly for some reason, and it's like so funny because he blurs out everything. But I've gone back and I've played the game myself, and there's nothing that's that bad in there.
If that's something that you found so good about Heavy Rain, there is a full quest in Final Fantasy VII dedicated to cross-dressing. It's great.
Oh, is that why Cloud has all the
Yep.
artwork of him in a fucking
Yep.
dress?
Fair enough.
Oblivion, you can feel the way you feel about it. I know it's not your favorite, but you're wrong.
What? Wait, did I go through my worst games?
No. Yes?
Yeah, you did. Yes.
Yes.
Oblivion was in. I don't think it was in your worst though. Oh no, it was actually.
Was it? Wait, did I go through
No,
my worst?
no.
No,
It's not in there.
Hold on.
Look,
No,
No,
I think it capitalized on the hype. I think everyone forgot how hard being a vampire is.
Yeah.
It will always have the softest
it's not
spot
in
in
my
my
list.
heart. When I got the original, I got it from a market nearby for $10 the week it came out. And I was like, I'm definitely getting ripped off. I went home and it worked for about half an hour, and then we had to replace the graphics card in the computer because I killed it.
Oh no.
But my dad was so adamant. He was like, nah, we're going. So we went out to the computer market, bought a new one, came home, and he proceeded to watch me play Oblivion for like 2 hours. Greatest childhood memory.
That's actually really wholesome.
Serious Sam is
filled with wholesome moments.
Serious Sam is ridiculous. There's skeleton steers that chase you, aliens. It's just shooting stuff to survive. The game has so many silly moments. If you need a game that's stupid easy to play and you just want to have a bit of a laugh, it's the one. Knights of the Old Republic is huge for its age. It was four discs when I first got it.
Yeah.
And you can now download it from the Apple Store.
Brad, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Are you sad that Knights of the Old Republic's remaster got cancelled?
Abso-fucking-lutely. It makes me mad every time I think about it.
I feel like that's like the one Star Wars IP that they've never fucked up, not knowing much about it.
If they had have made Knights of the Old Republic literally the exact same game, but with the mechanics from
Jedi Survivor or whatever. it's
Jedi
called.
Survivor, they would have more money than they know what to do with.
That's fair.
Apparently, we're getting the final Jedi game soon.
Okay.
Couldn't
I don't
care
know.
for it, to be honest.
I never finished
Story was
Jedi.
not great.
I never finished Jedi Survivor. Oh, not
Gameplay
Jedi-
was fine.
was
Story
it-
was
Yeah.
average.
I never
Was the-
finished it either.
Which one was Jedi Survivor's the new one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never
Yes.
finished that. I got like halfway through and just stopped giving a shit.
That's fair.
Even the first one, I felt that way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So moving
Legacy of
on-
Goku was
Oh.
a Game Boy game, by the way, and it went through all the way to the Cell series. It was goated.
I mean, I'll be honest, I've never played a Dragon Ball game. I just like the anime.
Fair.
That's fair. I mean, most of the Dragon Ball games are goated, man. Like you can't really go wrong with them.
I mean, they're just, as far as I know, they're just fighting games.
But like,
Yeah.
it's most people just love Goku because he's the goat, so you just want to play as Goku.
Yeah,
I just want to collect more sensu beans, okay?
give me the sensu beans. Okay, moving on to Squids.
Yeah.
Best games. We have Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberwank 2077, Starfield, Elden Ring, Skyrim, Witcher 3, Fallout 3, Expedition 33, fuck a lot of threes, and Need for Speed, is it Most Wanted?
Yeah, most wanted.
So, I will say, Elden Ring, Skyrim, Witcher, and Expedition 33, I can all agree.
Yeah.
Like, The Witcher 3 is probably one of the best games within the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Generational game, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Skyrim is also one of those games that if you said it was one of the best games to come out within the last 20 years, I don't think a lot of people would say no.
Yeah. I think those 4 games, so at least Skyrim, Elden Ring, and Witcher 3 are generational games for me.
Skyrim, Witcher,
Elden Ring.
Yeah, Elden Ring. Elden Ring, I feel like everyone should try.
Yeah, it's a great introduction to the Soul series, and I love the fact that it's like that because it gets more people into playing the older Souls games.
It's also kind of like the easiest one to get into because I had more trouble with Dark Souls 3 than I did with Elden Ring.
Yeah, because there's no building in the Soul series. You're pretty much stuck to here's a sword, here's a whatever else, go beat the shit out of something.
Expedition 33, it's a new one. It is likely to be Game of the Year, if I'm being honest.
It was, without spoilers or anything, man, it is an amazing game that it got me into turn-based games. Let's just say that much. It is not a conventional turn-based game because you can dodge or parry attacks. You don't just take the damage, but the story was amazing. The story was amazing. It has a lot of emotional moments. The music score was insanely good. The voice acting was very on point. It just was a good game all around. Like, it's definitely up there in the top 3, in my opinion.
That's fair. Fallout 3, I've never played it, but I have heard very good things about it.
Yeah.
I'm just not a Fallout person.
That's fair. So originally, the original 2 Fallouts were made by a different person, and then Bethesda took the IP and got Fallout 3. And
Bethesda the bastards.
They did, and they brought out an absolute banger. I would find it hard to see people who say that Fallout 3 is a horrible game. I know people don't like it, but it just made a good game. It has an amazing music, and it got people into old music. Like, it had all the old wartime music in it, and the game itself just had a great story. And it's a Bethesda game. There's a lot of bugs in there, but as Bethesda says, they're not bugs. They're what do they say? It's
features.
Features. That's it. But it's my favorite Fallout. Like, I love it with a burning passion.
Also,
I strongly disagree.
Oh,
That's
controversy!
No, that's fair enough. People don't like. I know people
tear him into
prefer
asshole.
New Vegas. I know people like New Vegas more,
I also disagree with.
but I like it. But that's just right. I mean, you don't like Fallout in general, or?
No, I actually have a ridiculous amount of time sunk into 4. I even gave 76 a go in hopes that it would meet my expectations, and surprise, it didn't. I started with 3, tried to play it, couldn't get into it. It just, to be honest, it felt a bit clunky to me.
That's very fair. It is very clunky.
Couldn't do New Vegas.
Yeah.
and that caused a rift with our housemate because that's his favorite. Was his favorite.
Yeah.
But 4 blew my expectations out of the water. I did buy it with the thought that okay, if I return this in 7 days, it's fine. I get my money back.
Yeah.
But I just don't think 3's that
Yeah.
goated.
That's fine. I mean, I think that all the Fallouts are really great, apart from 76, which was just horrendous. Fallout 3, 4, and New Vegas are definitely up there. But I guess it was one of my first early games, so it has a soft spot for me in my heart.
So you'd be excited that they've announced the remake of 3?
I'm extremely excited, more
Wait,
than you
what?
can imagine.
Yeah.
Wait, like
Yeah.
was officially announced?
It's been officially announced.
Oh,
I know Starfield's probably the most controversial one there. Getting close to 600 hours on it, have several playthroughs on it. I love the game a lot, and the reason I like it a lot is more or less not because of the game itself, but because of the romance options. And that's also why I think that I will love Baldur's Gate so much, because I know it has very good romance options. So that is the only reason I particularly like Starfield. I tried to argue against it was a good game, and I realized I just didn't care. I just liked the idea behind the romance part of it. So
If
Understandable.
romance is what does it for you in Starfield, you're going to be playing Baldur's Gate with one hand. That's all I'm saying.
I'm very much getting ready for how much I'm going to be like, this is my favorite game now.
honestly, you're probably gonna sink 2 or 3 game playthroughs.
Yeah.
Because I've done 2. I've done 1 full
Yeah.
playthrough. I did a second nearly full playthrough.
Yeah.
I did a third. I started a third, but never finished, and that was my
Yeah.
stream playthrough.
Look, man, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to do a playthrough for every romanceable option at the very least. So how many characters I can romance, I'm going to do a different playthrough of them, because
Buddy,
that's just the way that I do it.
There's like 20.
No, 20 playthroughs.
Not
here I
even
come.
joking.
Yeah, like
Yeah, no, I get that, and that probably would be up there. It will be, if we ever do this again in, say a year's time or something, then I would say that Baldur's Gate will be on there.
well, good thing for you, Squid. We're never doing it again. Nutty Gamers is shutting down right now.
Fair. Okay.
Okay.
Need for Speed Most Wanted is just
You
such
don't
an
need
amazing
no,
game.
no, don't even start. You don't need to justify it. No one can argue it. It's the best driving game of all time.
It's amazing. Cyberpunk, same things as what Strath said. I agree a lot of them, that I think it's an amazing game. The story, yeah, I can agree. The story was a bit hazy going, but for the most part, the world building was good. Not much else to say on that. And Red Dead is it's my number 1 top game. It is the only game that I can arguably say is the best game that's ever been made. I know people won't agree with that, but I generally love the game so much, and even playing it multiple times, it still is such an emotional game. And even though it's not what people want it to be, I guess it did a lot better than what people expected it to be. But that is my top 1 game is Red Dead 2.
That's fair. Oh, wait, have you guys been putting these in order?
No,
Oh, okay.
No.
my order would be Red Dead, Cyberpunk, and then Witcher 3 at the stage. But
That's fair. Moving to my best games, we
I'm
have
excited.
Destiny 2, Shadow of the Colossus, Elden Ring, Okami, Halo 3, Warframe, Soma, Sunset Overdrive, and Doom Eternal.
I just want to say I love the fact that Destiny's in your worst and best game. It fits it's such a mood for Destiny
No,
being your worst.
because here's the
best
thing,
game.
I've put so much time into Destiny, and Destiny is such a big part of my life.
Literally, we
uh,
wouldn't be having this conversation if
No,
Destiny wasn't a
This
thing, to be
this
honest.
podcast, my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, wouldn't exist.
Being in each other's lives is literally because of Destiny.
Yeah, but at the same time, I
Wild.
have been around long enough to recognize is an extremely flawed game that needs to
Yeah,
be
that's fair.
fixed and improved. And the only way that's going to happen is things like this where we talk about it.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
The other one, the 2 that I don't think need to be questioned are Elden Ring.
Yep.
And Doom Eternal.
Honestly, I don't even think you need to question Warframe.
No, Warframe is
I get it.
I can see why people don't like Warframe. It has
Yeah.
It has
I
a
can see that.
problem. Basically, Warframe's biggest issue is the middle game, where the tutorial is awesome, especially now because they've updated it. But
Yeah.
once you get out of the first tutorial, like zones, it just throws you into the world and expects you
Yeah.
to go. But it still leaves certain things out. But then, when you get to like Second Dream, if you can hold in for like 30 hours, the payoff is huge.
That is a massive time sink, though. Like when you think about
that's
it,
what
that
is.
is like to put 30 hours into a game with no realistic payoff. That is a huge ask.
No, but that's the thing. But it's also like, it's also free.
Yeah.
Which is which is another huge positive in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
like,
the biggest fan of Warframe, but I can see where the appeal comes from.
yeah, but
Same.
like once you get that payoff, it just keeps rolling.
Yeah. But I can say though, I've seen more people say they gave it up than they kept going, because that is, as Strass said, that is a big 30 hours is probably most story campaigns, main story done. Like it's a lot of hours to put into it to get good.
I fully understand why, and if you give up because you don't want to sink that time in, fair enough.
Yeah.
But like the people who do sink that time in, it is a huge reward, and I would suggest doing it. Halo 3. What else can I say?
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Back when Bungie was Bungie,
Back when Bungie were like good.
Actually goated, like the goated
but
Bungie.
I will say that this one is interchangeable with Halo 4 and Halo Reach.
That's fair.
And
Reach was also an amazing game as well.
Reach, I would argue, is just as good. But also, the reason I say Halo 4, I know it's not as good, but it's still a really solid Halo title, and the ending is kind of emotional if you play from 1 to 4, like back to back.
Yeah.
I've talked about Soma before. It's such a good game. Everyone should play Soma.
I wasn't afraid of horror games. I probably would.
Well, that's the great thing with Soma. You can turn the horror off.
Well, can you?
Yes, it's got a setting for people who have anxiety, so that they can enjoy the story of the game, where the monsters are still there, but the effects and the fact that they can like hit you and damage you are gone.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of games that would benefit from a de-horrifying, and I think people think, what's the point of playing a horror game? Some horror games have the best story that's ever been made, but I can't play it because I'm terrified of jump scares and horror. Like the Resident Evil series has got an amazing story that I want to play. I just can't deal with horror, so I just don't play it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think a lot of games could use that feature. Yeah. Sunset Overdrive.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, Sunset Overdrive. I kind of wanted to put here because I really, really enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
But I could also put it in the biggest misses section. Because it is just it's a really solid game that like got robbed.
Yeah, I did hear like it just kind of, just at the end of it, is just everything just kind of went to shit.
Yeah. The two probably biggest ones that people won't know here are Okami and Shadow of the Colossus.
Both of them are absolutely goated. I've never played them before, but I've seen playthroughs of them and they're absolutely crazy.
Shadow of the Colossus has one of the best stories that I have ever played. And basically it doesn't have dialogue and you just have to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's like also just great. Yeah. And then Okami, which is getting a sequel, which I'm very excited about.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like 20 years old and it's getting a sequel now.
Yeah. I like that they're doing that.
I'm not even going to talk about it. If you want to know more about Okami, just go play it.
Yeah.
You play as a wolf. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Yeah, you play as a white wolf with the power to draw things into existence.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are now moving on to the final section of this grid game, as I'm going to
You
call
can
it.
talk about Doom, but I feel like there's not much to talk about Doom. Doom is Doom.
Doom is Doom,
Doom
and
be
Doom
Doom.
Eternal. Like,
Doom
Doom
is just-
Eternal
yeah.
is the best of the new trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, Dark Ages was good, but it missed a lot of things.
Yeah.
2016 was really good, but again, it was missing a few key things, and Eternal is just the perfect middle ground.
Very good. All right.
Very good.
Oh,
Games that missed.
Yeah.
games that missed. Where's Strats? Strath, you have.
Boy, howdy.
Wait, is this?
Yeah.
Oh. So you have Anthem, Skull and Crossbones, Starfield, Star Citizen, Avengers, the Mass Effect Andromeda, the new Saints Row, Far Cry 6, and you also have Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Boy, howdy, have I been waiting for this.
Let loose.
Anthem had so much potential, and it was just not invested in, like, heavily enough. They just kind of dropped it and left it. Like, it could have been fantastic. I think if anything had the possibility in it to be the Destiny killer, it would have been Anthem if it was executed properly.
Yeah.
Just fell short of the mark. Skull and Crossbones I covered in worse games. I feel like they completely missed the point of being a pirate.
Yeah.
We like loot. Like, the fact that you can't even run when you're at the dock is ridiculous. Starfield, I've also explained in previously, it just felt too empty, too pigeonholed into being a good guy. Star Citizen grinds my fucking gears. How do you take in over $800 million and not have a functional game? I understand that, like, at this point, it's the most successful scam known to man, that you're going to say, we just need this so that you can have flaps on your ship, and it's like $1,000, submission to get flaps on your ship. But, like, come on. Like, it is a full multi-hour exercise to make it from the bed in the hospital to my ship, just to crash my ship trying to leave the hangar. And then crash my computer while I'm at it. Like, at what point do they have a class action lawsuit? Because, like, that's how I feel about Star Citizen.
I'm just
That's
saying
crazy,
now, what was that game the day before? Like that
was another one, bro. Just so.
No, but I feel like at this point, Star Citizen might pull a day before
And just disappear.
Yeah, they're just
That's
going to
true.
run with the money because while they have delivered a functional game that is being added to, I don't know how you take this long to release a game. Like, just fucking release it at this point and just update it.
Bro, at this point, they could probably buy half of Bungie, at least.
Yeah.
Well, what did Bungie sell for? Close to 4 billion? They're pretty close. They're not far off.
They could buy a quarter of Bungie and have them actually make quality of life improvements to Star Citizen.
I mean, Bungie might do it. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Avengers, I mean, come on. How do you fumble the bag with, like, one of the most popular franchises on the planet in recent years and just not know how to approach the game? Like, come on. Mass Effect Andromeda is another one. How do you fumble that bag? Like, I understand wanting to have new adventures set in the same universe. I'm a huge fan of that, by the way. But, like, I literally got 20 minutes into the game and restarted because I hated the female voice actress's voice so damn much.
Oh, I mean, I downloaded Andromeda. I don't think I got off the ship before I uninstalled.
It's not great.
No, well, I have the entire. I bought the Mass Effect trilogy because it was $10. I haven't played it yet. I plan on playing it on stream, twitch.tv/elite, by the way. But yeah, I don't know how they fucked up Andromeda, and I know that we're getting another Mass Effect game soon-ish, probably like an announcement at the end of the year.
He's hoping.
I imagine if it comes out next year, they're going to announce it at the Game Awards.
Oh, for sure.
Saints Row that one missed.
They forgot what Saints Row is.
Saints Row is GTA, but just offensive as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of my favorite video game characters is Trevor Phillips. So like I'm about offensive games, but like it just missed the ball so far. Like
yeah,
I don't care about working for a mercenary company. I just don't. Far Cry 6, look man,
the best thing
they
about
had a
that game.
steep hill to climb.
The best thing about that game was I don't know what his name is, Gus Fring, that actor.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, he was great, and the dog.
Like they had a steep hill to climb. Far Cry 5 is the best game in the series. I won't take any opinions on that.
No, Far Cry 3. It's got titties.
Okay. You don't want to do drugs in the field with the Seed sister?
Which one? I haven't played.
Sounds like a weird choice. I understand it had a high, tall hill to climb, but like I just feel like it missed so heavily.
That's very fair.
And then Assassin's Creed just hit mid with Mirage. I don't know how you set a game in one of the richest cultures in the world and then just have it be so terrible.
I'm gonna say something controversial here. Outside of like one, maybe two games, Assassin's Creed has been mid as fuck since Ezio died.
I'm gonna need you to label those two games this very minute.
So I think Valhalla was one that I played through the entirety of Valhalla. It is very boring at times, but I really enjoyed it.
Great.
And then I think the other one was Unity, where I get it had a lot of bugs at launch, but it had a really cool concept, and as well as France is really fun.
The fact that you didn't say Odyssey or Black Flag concerns me deeply.
Didn't play Odyssey, don't like Black Flag.
Odyssey is fantastic. It's probably the best game.
I didn't play Odyssey. I played like 10 minutes of Origins, and then because it was on Game Pass, but so was the DLC. So it gave me the option to skip the main story and start the DLC, and I accidentally did. And then I just got overpowered too quickly, which is a me problem.
Fair.
Yeah, look, Mirage walked so Odyssey could run. I guess I can see that. But I just feel like for a game that's set in Egypt, like they could have been so cool, man.
What?
And it was just not.
Strath, did you just say Mirage walked so Odyssey could run?
Have I got that?
Mirage came out after Odyssey.
Did it really?
Yes, Mirage is the... besides Shadows, Mirage is the newest Assassin's Creed.
Oh, which one am I thinking of? It's not that one.
Were you thinking of Shadows with the big black samurai?
No, hold on.
That's why I was really confused, because Mirage came out way more recently than Odyssey. Odyssey came out before Valhalla.
No, it's not Mirage, it's the other one. It may be Origins. Does that have what's
Origins
his name?
was the open world Egypt.
Yes, Origins. It should have been Origins. My bad.
Okay.
Hated that.
No, because Mirage is just as shit.
Stop it.
No, like genuinely, it is really fucking bad.
Oh no.
Not even close to the dumpster fire that is Shadows, but it's
Don't
still
say
pretty
that.
bad.
Crazy.
Moving on to Squid's games
Yeah.
that missed. Oh boy, I have words. Anthem, Fallout 76, Evolved, Mass Effect Andromeda, No Man's Sky, Assassin's Creed Unity, Suicide Squad, Skull and Crossbones, Saints Row. We covered.
I agree with
fucking-
literally all of them.
I don't know.
Anthem, Mass Effect, and Skull and Bones were covered with what's going on with them.
And Saints Row.
That's it for sorry.
I feel
Suicide
like
Squad. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I can say we can probably skip Unity because it's probably the same as the other Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suicide Squad was a piece of shit, shouldn't have existed.
Yeah, I feel like it could have done a lot better, and it sucked. Now I know No Man's Sky is doing well now, but I just feel like it came out and it just missed what it was. And
Okay. I will agree with you. At launch, it was a piece of shit game.
Yeah.
But at least they had the balls to redevelop the entire game, and they haven't charged a single cent besides the first purchase.
Yeah, it's fair. I think they've done a great job now, but I think like it just, in my opinion, of what I've played of the game, what I've understood is that it did not hit the market it needed to when it first came out, and for a substantial amount of time until they basically remade the entire game. But otherwise, I think like from when I played with you last, it was pretty fun and I enjoyed it. Evolve, I feel like could have been the absolute best. Like whatever they went for, it would have been so good, and I was so excited for it. And I was so upset when it just died.
What's the concept of Evolve? Because I've never heard of it.
Basically, it's a 5-player game where one of you is a monster, and the other 4 are hunters, and the monster has to kill things and eat them to evolve, and you evolve in stage 1, 2, and 3. The hunters have to kill you or capture you, and basically once you hit you get abilities, but when you hit rank 3, your goal becomes to destroy something, and if you do, the monster wins. But if they kill you, they win.
Pretty much in like I think stage 1 and to some degree in stage 2, the monster just loses every time. Like if you try and fight the humans as the monster in stage 1, you just get bodied because they just do too much damage to you to kill you or capture you. In stage 3, you can fight back a bit, but it's still not enough to outright just win, because they can, especially if they play the game good, they can just body you. But it just had such a potential, man, to be such a cool game, but it just went nowhere.
Yeah, plus
I feel
they
like
shut
there was
down.
a game very similar to that.
They shut down the servers as well, which was real shitty.
There's a few games like that. I think almost like kind of, I want to say almost like the Predator Hunting Grounds, but not really.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, except the Predator is underpowered in this scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you had like different creatures. Like you had the flagship creature, and you also could play as like a Cthulhu monster, which was pretty fun.
I think by the time the servers closed, there was about 7 or 8 monsters.
Yeah, my favorite one was the Cthulhu monster, because you basically just at the end of the game when you're on tier 3, you are literally Cthulhu, and you just run around smacking shit. Fallout 76 had so much potential to be such a good game. Fallout with co-op, and it just yeah,
no, Fallout 76, even though they're still making it and working on it, I still feel like it's not worth.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess we're on to my one and the final one.
I have many questions. I have many questions.
Biggest misses.
I have many
Anthem.
questions here.
Evolve, Starfield, The Oblivion Remaster, New World, Monster Hunter Wilds, Elden Ring Night Rain, Shaq Fu, and Cyberpunk 2077. Ask your questions, Squid.
What in everything on God's green earth is Shaq Fu, my man? What is that?
I'm glad you asked. Shaquille O'Neal has his own range of games. One of them is called Shaq Fu. You know the old, like, 2D scroller games where it's like enemies come at you and you fight them? It's that, but
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Brother, I've never heard of it before. This is the first time I've heard of this game
It
my
is the
entire life.
best game ever played. There is 2 of them.
I've never heard of it. I've
There
literally
There
never
is
heard of it.
Shaq
This is
Fu,
wild.
and there is Shaq Fu, the Legend Reborn.
I thought you were trolling when you were messaging in Discord about that, man. No, you're legit. You're being
No.
No, it's a
dead
real
set, honest to God. There's
Squid,
a game called
Squid.
Shaq Fu. My
There's-
mind is blown.
Squid. Barack Obama is in the second one.
Well,
So is I think Kanye West is in it.
I'm mystified. That is
I
on the next level.
Everyone watching this, everyone here right now, go and look up Shaq Fu on YouTube. It is so funny.
I'm just trying. I'm like trying to comprehend. Why is there a miss though? What about it if it is a miss?
Because no one knows about it.
Well, I feel like that's not a miss, brother. Just because it's such
It's a
an
miss in my
underrated.
book. What are your other questions?
I can understand Cyberpunk. I know you didn't like it. That's fair.
Well,
the
The thing with
Oblivion-
Cyberpunk is, I think it could be a great game.
Yeah.
If it had launched
Yeah.
in a better state, which, like,
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do. But then also, if they had put like a little bit more world building into it.
Yeah.
I would
It's a lot
like
better
to
now, though.
ask a question.
Yes, Strat.
Because, like, I'll accept that. I understand that a lot of people have that opinion. I do think it's quite crazy that you would say it doesn't have world building.
No.
Just personally.
I'd want more world building.
I still think that's a crazy statement.
As well as I would prefer to see what they showed in the initial trailers in the game.
Yeah.
Because
That's fair.
there's still some things missing from those trailers that I feel like would make the game like a 10 out of 10.
Well, it's actually getting another update, believe it or not.
Well, I'm gonna fucking cream on whatever that one Pan Am. She is the best waifu.
Mummy, yeah.
But, like,
absolutely.
previously we were talking about No Man's Sky, and you said, they had the balls to go in and completely, essentially rebuild the game in the 2.0 update.
Did the same with
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, really.
That is
Yeah, but I
exactly
have
what
to
they
pay
did
for
with
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. No, you don't.
I have to pay for the
Well, yeah.
DLC.
The DLC
You
is
don't
what
have to buy the DLC, though. It's optional. The upgrade is entirely free.
Well,
Yeah.
it looks like I'm re-downloading Cyberpunk.
Good man.
Like that's what I mean. Like they made the effort. They're still making the effort.
I think because I'm done with Destiny at this point, and I'm just waiting for the expansion. I might do a week streaming Mass Effect and Cyberpunk, waiting for the expansion to come out.
I think Mass Effect's gonna break your fucking heart.
I already know the entire story of Mass Effect. It's just the fact of playing it for myself.
Fair. It was me crying in the blue light of the PlayStation at like 3 a.m.
Is that when you had your gay awakening, Strath?
It was long before I met my wife, but long after my gay awakening. So no.
Fair enough.
Night Rain, that's my only other question. Like, I know you weren't a big fan of it, man, but like
I
still
just think
doing
it
pretty
misses.
well.
Like, I straight up just think it
disagree with that,
misses.
because it's still hitting pretty high numbers for what it is.
Yeah, but hitting high numbers versus being a good game isn't necessarily the same thing. Look at Destiny.
Yeah, but I don't know in the regard it missed though. I think it did everything it intended to do. It came out as a roguelike Elden Ring spin-off.
I just feel like it misses in a few aspects.
That's fair enough.
I see a lot of potential, but also this is another thing that I like in my games. I like replayability. And with Night Rain, once you beat it once, you're just fighting the same bosses over and over again.
That's fair.
Yeah, it does have like there are different Night Lords and stuff you can fight and that, but yeah, I
Yeah, but
guess
there's
like
only 7
comparatively
of
like
them.
yeah, comparatively to what the predecessor was being in Elden Ring, I can see like why people don't particularly like it as much, but
No,
I
it's
don't know if
still.
it misses as much as it just it wasn't what you're expecting.
I think it was a miss.
I'd like to
Also,
ask a question.
yeah,
Do you think you would feel different? Like, I don't know if you played with friends when you played through it.
I have not played with anyone. I played matchmade the entire time.
Because my question was going to be, do you think it's one of those things that's like Helldivers where you have more fun if you play with people you know?
I
I
think
would
it
agree
would
that you
be.
would.
I feel
I
like
think
I
you
would
would.
have more fun, but it still doesn't change my point that there's only it's like 7 or 8 bosses that I can play against.
Oh no, completely understand that. It was just is
But
this
yeah, it
like
would
if I looked at getting it later down the line when it's not like $80?
Yeah.
it would change my opinion slightly, but I don't think it would change my opinion enough to be like goes from missed
Okay.
game to good game.
Fair
That's fair.
enough.
Uh
Wilds is another one I had a question about to what of it that you think missed.
it was too short and there's not enough content.
Bet.
Simple as that. It
Mm,
got like because
yeah.
I played World shortly before it came out.
Yeah.
Like replayed it. It had like double the amount of monsters.
It's a bit difficult to claim on that because when you played World, it would have been at the end of the gameplay when everything's been introduced. But if you played World when it first came out,
No, I
which
did.
I
I
did,
also played World when it first came out.
and World and Wilds are very similar when they first came out. There weren't as many monsters as there are now, so that's why I was a bit confused why I said miss because it came
I
out
don't know. I feel like
very
Worlds was
similarly
a
to.
lot longer and had more monsters.
Probably. I mean, like, there's a chance it had more monsters in World than in Wilds, but you also had like Rise as well that came out that also I felt also did pretty well. But
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
think it missed us per se. In my opinion, I think it just didn't deliver as well as World because World was there, but they did add a lot of things to Wilds that I think is 3 times better. Like a lot of the quality of life with the weapons they've made several times better than they were in Worlds, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean the weapons were fun, but I'm also a
Yeah,
dual blade person, so it's like I do the same thing no matter what.
yeah, that's fair enough.
Uh
That's true. I
then
don't have any questions for
for
New
the
World.
last two that we haven't touched on, Oblivion
I have
Remaster
some
I
big
think missed.
questions.
Yeah, go for it.
How?
So this is one of the things of they just remade the game with better graphics.
And
And
How's
I
it missed
just
though, brother?
no, because I played Skyrim first, and
Yep.
Skyrim is
and
an impeccable game.
for I
Oblivion,
actually
Oblivion, in my opinion, is me going from point A to B and then back to A and then back to B again for modern fucking septum. Fucking hate Martin.
homie
Martin.
Martin. And did you play the DLC?
There's a DLC.
There is two DLC that were included in the remaster for free. And I'm just going to say this right now, right?
Yeah.
I would actually say that the Dimension Mania DLC for Oblivion is the greatest DLC ever made.
Really? Over something as good as Lightfall?
I would
Uh,
actually, yeah. Shea Gorath, who is the antagonist in
We love Shea Goroth.
I'm
he
coming,
is
Shea
one of
Gorath.
the best written characters I've ever encountered in
Yeah.
an RPG.
Absolutely, I love him. He's the GOAT for a reason.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, the story and everything is great. It's the gameplay. Everything just felt really slow and clunky to me.
Okay.
Everyone
But
is
al-
entitled to their opinion.
but also fuck Modern Septum.
I also have a question about New World because I've put some decent time into New World now. Playing with
It
a
just
mate of
felt
mine.
bland, man.
Okay, that's
Sure.
fair. Yeah, the I got pretty heavy into the end game, and yeah, that's fair. I think that it wanted to try and be like World of Warcraft, but
It
it couldn't
wanted to be World of Warcraft, but like new, and it
Yeah,
just kind of
that's fair.
missed in a lot of
I
aspects.
enjoyed it, but yeah,
No, I mean, here's the thing: if it was a free game, I'd be like, go try it.
yeah,
But because it's paid for, I'm gonna
yeah,
tell you, don't even bother.
yeah. I enjoyed the game a lot playing with my mate, but then again, I'm like, did I enjoy the game because it's good or just because I'm playing with my friend?
Yeah, it's like I played basically solo and then a little bit with
Yeah,
Risen, and it was just
yeah.
like kind of boring.
Look, it's
Uh,
not in my top 20. I'll say that much.
yeah, but
That's
yeah, I
that's
think
such a low key like insult, to be honest.
Squid insulting the games.
It's not even in my top 20. Another game that I would have put in worse that I didn't, now that I've just seen it, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Play that one, but it sounds interesting. At least from
No,
it was
saying.
good.
trash.
No.
From what I heard, it was good on release, but then it never kept the momentum
That's fair enough.
because
I'd
it
hate
it
to see what they think it's bad on release.
yeah.
The other thing I would change from my best games, I might have changed. If I had to put anything in there, it might have been one of the original kill zones.
Absolutely.
But I don't know what I would change out though, because that was what fun fact actually. Killzone 1, the very first Killzone, was my first video game that I ever played.
What?
I wasn't allowed to play video games when I was younger until and when I was old enough.
I mean,
it's my very first.
Oh my
I
god.
I almost put in my best games Minecraft.
But I loved it. I should retract my statement. Sorry, it was the first shooter I ever played. My apologies. It was the first shooter I played was Killzone 1, and I loved it. And I was considering getting an older PlayStation just to go back and play it again.
Oh,
If
we
you
should.
like Killzone, Resistance would have been
I
so
wanted to
good
play
for
it
you.
so bad, but I
Oh,
had a
Didn't
PlayStation when I was younger.
Resistance bomb?
what?
Resistance.
I don't think so. Didn't they make a new one like in the last 10 years?
What?
Wasn't there a new Resistance that came out that just fucking bombed real hard?
Hold on. Because
I
if
think
that's true,
it was like Battlefront or something.
Burning Skies was the last
No,
one. It came out on the Vita.
no, there was a new one. Unless I'm
They
thinking of
haven't
the
dropped
wrong
any
game.
since 2012.
What's it called again? Resistance.
Resistance Fall of Man or something.
Yeah, that was the very first one. Came out in 2006. I was just starting high school. Fantastic. What a game.
If I ever get an old PlayStation, I definitely want to go play it. I love Killzone with the Burning Pain. It was an amazing shooter. I played 2 and 3. I didn't like 3 as much as 1. 1 was my favorite.
Yeah. That's fair. No, because I remember Resistance 2 came out and I had just got a PlayStation 3 and I was like,
Oh
look at the
no! Fuck!
graphics.
I
I
know
was
what
such a baby.
I'm not thinking of Resistance. I'm thinking of Homefront.
Yeah, Homefront Bomb, dude. That it was fun. Like I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't. There was nothing there. There was nothing there.
Yeah, that I'm thinking of Homefront the game because they released a new one that just fucking bombed. It was Revolution.
Yeah,
That
Oh,
one just
yeah.
bombed hard.
they had pretty cool guns and stuff, but
Yeah, but cool guns only gets you so far. Look at
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare.
yeah. Oh, something I didn't want to speak about before.
I know Strath has an
Wow.
opinion.
Oh no.
Oh no.
If I could increase my best games, and I'm not even like I'm not having a laugh or anything, I would actually put Infinite Warfare.
Oh no,
The
I think
story in
Infinite Warfare was
was
actually
amazing.
solid. Because I want more jet fighter games. I like
Yeah.
flying games.
That's fair enough.
Like
Fine,
if I could have had Infinite Warfare, and
Mm.
in my best characters, I would have had Ethan.
Fair
Ethan,
enough.
the robot dog.
Ethan was yeah.
He was the goat.
Such like if you look at it as not a COD game, it's such a goated
Yeah.
game. Anyways, as you were saying, Squid.
Delta Force. I don't know if you guys have seen much of that, but it has some insane like gun mechanics.
Okay.
Like what was it? There was a video of a guy going around where his gun gets jammed and he field strips the entire gun down to the minute details and then reassembles it. Like, and the thing is, like, it's not like, oh, this is what it looks like. As like somebody who is a bit of a fanatic for weaponry, I could see like the proper, like the actual legitimate way of field stripping the weapon, and it was, yeah, it's like a mix of Call of Duty and Battlefield. Like it's got the Battlefield-esque fights, but with more like the Call of Duty firefights. So it seems like a pretty funky game. If you like a PvP game,
It's got mixed reviews.
it does, because it's a Chinese company, which is what a lot of people didn't like because of the usual stuff. But
it's
the
Chinese
free.
company makes
Yeah.
fucking game
the
about
developers
Americans.
did an amazing job when it came to the gun mechanics, when it came to just the way the rifles work, inspecting the weapon, the reloading. Like the fact that the reloads can sometimes be like messed up because your character misses it. I know it's such a small detail, but the fact that every reload shouldn't be perfect. Like your character hits the bottom of the injection port, or he pushes the shell in and it goes too far to the right and he has to readjust. Like those things that make a gun seem like it's actually been reloaded by a
Squid,
person, not
squid, squid.
like a yes.
I'll hit the bottom of your magazine import.
Oh,
What?
I
What?
subscribe.
I wasn't listening. What?
I was just saying that I like the fact that they made the guns reload look like a real person reloading and not a AI.
But AI does reload the gun, Squid.
I know, but they made it that the reloads on a semi-regular basis don't reload perfectly. Like their character doesn't get the magazine into the magazine well properly, because no human being reloads a rifle properly, especially under duress and war.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. Anywho, that's my tangent.
Very good.
Well, considering I think that's the end of the time that we have for today.
Very good.
Do we have any final words?
Make sure you
Subscribe
spay and
to-
neuter your nuts.
Yes, and subscribe to Infernal's YouTube and give him money. What?
Don't give me
What?
money. Thank you for watching. We hope you show up for the next episode in 2 weeks. Next, I believe, is Strathfield's second go around the sun.
Second
I've got
go
some
around.
plans. Let's go.
Yeah,
Very
it's gonna
good.
be
Thanks
the
for
sex
coming.
toy episode.
Very nice. I'm looking forward to
Jesus.
that.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
We'll see you in the
Goodbye.
next episode. Goodbye.